What up, YouTube? Jumping into it, we have our UFO updates. Big news happening here, and I wanted to start off with the announcement. I wanted to, kind of jump into it right away with the announcement that everyone's been talking about.
The newcomers have arrived. They have their own customs, their own mysteries,
Slagtown, I hate this place.
and their own crimes.
My fellow newcomers will work very hard to make as much money as they can to give to me.
Sykes, here's your new partner.
My true name is Stangya Sorens A.
Samantha, well, gesundheit.
Now, James Caan
So what do you got?
This will stop anything.
and Mandy Patinkin are headed deep into newcomer territory.
Well, your mother mates out of season.
Into the heart of a mystery.
That's an insult.
Inside an alien world of violence, desire,
Tell me the truth. Have you ever made it with one of us?
and power.
A sweet
Soy face.
indulgence from our past, resurrected for our future.
It is called Japuka.
Your people do not know about this part of our past.
Beyond their darkest fears
He's dead. No, he's not.
lies an evil beyond imagination. Alien Nation.
Amazing news. This was a real movie and TV show. Make sure you watch it today. This was really good. It was really fun. Oh my God, so loud. It was nuts. It was crazy that this was on TV.
That was the scene in California's Mojave Desert 5 years ago. Our historic first view of the newcomer's ship. Theirs was a slave ship carrying 250,000 beings bred to adapt and labor in any environment. But they've washed ashore on Earth with no way to get back to where they came from. And in the last 5 years, the newcomers have become the latest addition to the population of Los Angeles.
This was real. This was real. Too many characters. Too many characters. Too many characters. Okay. Like 300 characters in this show. All right. Serious. Let's get serious here. Because there is some serious news. UFO sightings are taking off again because of all the news. I've seen this before. Like during the 80s, there was a big home intrusion kind of scare. Welcome back, Al Rakabi. But there was a big home intrusion scare, and there was a lot of like UFO sightings, and UFO came into my bedroom, and that kind of stuff. So we are seeing an increase in UFO sightings, and likely because of all the news that we've been seeing most recently coming out about this. So we'll start with this one.
Government is in possession of UAPs.
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General.
Has any of
Honestly, all of this boils down to this guy saying, trust me. Right? Where's the pictures, bro? right? Where's the video? Where's the new video? Where's the, where's the pictures of this shit up close? Show me a fucking, 350-pound New Yorker come, engineer, right? Come popping out of the UFO and walking down the ramp, right? Because he's been working on this like his whole life, right? Where's the proof? Where's the goddamn, you know what I mean? Bazinga. Where's the goddamn proof?
The activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured. And the activity, and I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
both.
If you were me, where would you look? Titles, programs, departments?
I'd be happy to give you that in a closed environment. I can tell you specifically.
And I would say, and I've told people that you have to know where to look. They're not going to divulge it to you because of the classification levels. But if you know where to look and who to talk to, which is exactly what Mr. Grush can point you, then you have them.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
So it was a whole lot of gobbledygook. Like they're all like this, though. All these congressional hearings are always filled with this kind of gobbledygook. It's hard to get the real details. So found this Reddit page here that has all the key takeaways. Do I think Trump will be okay? Yeah, Clutch Cargo. Sorry, I saw your question earlier. I forgot to respond to it. I think that's the big strength and big weakness of Donald Trump is that he was 100% obsessed with Donald Trump when he was in there. He did. I don't think he even asked about aliens. Maybe he did. I don't know. But if he did, it was only, maybe I do recall him saying there being some kind of story about him asking about the alien stuff. But it was really easy to ignore Donald Trump. And he was obsessed with himself and his reelection, near the end of his presidency, right? So I don't think, I don't think they respect the chain of command. You know what I mean? I don't think they respect the chain of command. So I think Trump was just ignored. All right, so key takeaways here. Excuse me. IRAD abuse, defense contractors misappropriating funds with government collusion, mention of self-funding. Okay. Gruch had spent 11 hours with both intel committees. Gruch had provided names and locations to the IG. Okay. U.S. government contractors have craft and non-human biologics. So this guy is saying we have craft and we have alien bodies. I'm going to need to see more evidence than just hearsay. I mean, come on, man. I need some pictures at this point. This trust me, bro, bullshit is not, I'm not buying it. U.S. government contractors have intimidated, hurt, or potentially murdered would-be whistleblowers. That's huge. I mean, that's a huge, huge allegation. Individuals in charge of classification, access to information, are career senior executive officials in both military, DoD, and defense contractors, unelected officials. Satellite imagery of crashes, test, retrieval exists. Where you got to show it to me at this point. U.S. government contractors could have advanced tech that has been made for reverse engineering efforts. That would be interesting. If some of our human technology that we collected from the 50s, right, during the Roswell stuff, like gyroscopes and stuff like that, or something, you know what I mean? Like just some innovation that we were like, oh, some human being came up with it. But it was actually some, alien tech that was reverse engineered and then eventually disseminated to the public. Grutch and his wife were intimidated in a disturbing way. Grutch knows people who have seen the non-human biologics. Okay, yeah, well, I know people that claim to, have fucked unicorns. Right? So, unicorns exist and people also fuck them. What are you going to do? What kind of proof you got, bud? Because I know a guy. Grutch has seen photos and documents. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Gates saw image and radar data of Orb UAP. I hate that Matt Gates is involved in this. Gates willing to subpoena image and radar data of Orb UAP from Elgin AFB. Grutch saw footage of shoot down and said craft was otherworldly. Some have claimed that inside the ship it feels much larger, and time travels faster when you're inside the ship, or slower, maybe. Its potential for this to also be interdimensional. Mention of holographic principle. Here, I'll make this a little larger in case you want to read some of this ahead of me. People have been injured working on UFO legacy reverse engineering programs and potentially hurt by NHI, maybe by unknown radiation, or I don't know, getting their guts torn inside out because they hit a button and it did something. Welcome back, Nickname. Good to see you, bud. And yes, hello, Panda Man. Why would they release all the information as a teaser but not actually drop receipts? Like, right? Some, the very cynical people that are way too online are like, oh, this is because of the election. This is because Joe Biden's losing the election, or blah, 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 politics. They think this is about politics, right? I don't know, dog. I don't think this shit's about politics. It always feels like shit that they really don't want to be telling us, but feel like they must tell us, right? It often feels like it's getting us ready. My parents are visiting. My parents-in-law are visiting Panda Man, and I don't want they're Chinese, and I don't want to explain to them why I'm cursing and yelling into a microphone. So I'm doing it in the garage. People have been injured. Grutch will tell Congress everything classified they would like to know in SCIF. Grutch will give AOC and other panel members lists of involved individuals directly after the hearing. I do like that AOC is involved. That's nice to see. According to Grutch, statements made by Dr. Kirkpatrick of AARO that there is no evidence of extraterrestrial visitation or objects defying known science are inaccurate. Grutch was under oath. Kirkpatrick was not. When asked about communication with NHI, Grutch stated he can only talk about this in a classified setting. Graves knows a military witness who claims Boeing allegedly engaged in an incident involving a 100-yard-long red square UAP over Vandenberg AFB has documentation. Grutch cannot confirm or deny Department of Energy involvement in UAP data collection and housing. Alleged because he can't confirm or deny. So there's still things that he can't talk about. Aliens are in orbit. Not about politics, maybe because new Space Force needs funding. God, I really wish that wasn't started by Trump. It's so embarrassing. Alleged intimidation via cease and desist letters of commercial pilot witnesses by commercial aviation companies. That's interesting. So we've seen a lot of, commercial airline pilots being like, I saw some shit, dude. I saw something. Alleged intimidation. Grutch knows current individuals involved in reverse engineering programs that are willing to testify in a classified setting behind closed doors if certain immunities and insurances are met. So some of the engineers working for these private organizations. All three witnesses agree that it is possible that UAP could be probing our capabilities and nuclear assets, testing for vulnerabilities in our systems, and cannot be defended against. If they wanted to kill us, they could kill us. I'm sure of that. If they exist, if any of this shit is true, they could take us out. There's no question. They're faster. You know what I mean? They're like literally faster than the speed of light. Like instantly pop around, completely defy the laws of physics. Yeah, we're totally fucked. People will get fired or have pay cut if they don't get access to SCIF for the next hearing. Holloman rule will be enacted by Rep. Ogles. All three witnesses agree that it is possible that UAP. Okay, so we already said okay. All right, there you go. So I wanted to show that, and then I wanted to show this, which I thought was a really cool video. The top 5 red flags that are popping out about this UFO whistleblower story. Because yeah, I want to believe too, guys. I want to believe. But this trust me, bro bullshit is over. You got the pictures of the videos, right? Because we need to spend the next 10 years debating whether the pictures and videos are real. Okay? So if you're giving me trust me, bro, trust these nuts. That's all I got to say, right? So let's hear what the New York Post top 5 red flags UFO whistleblower story. Good old top 5 video, right? Fucking old school shit right here. Love it. The angle.
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles. No kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
Let's dive into this one. So the quick version of this story is that an ex-military guy has come forward and spilled the beans about the government secretly hiding crashed UFOs and alien bodies. This person's name is David Grush, and it appears on paper he has quite the resume. But here are a few red flags with this story. Number 1, no evidence has been presented at all. Normally, this would be the beginning and the end of this video. No evidence at all has been presented of extraterrestrial UFOs, extraterrestrial bodies. And Mr. Grush claims he didn't actually see any of this stuff. He just heard that this stuff is true. Another red flag. Right. Before Mr. Grush went to the media with this story, he had to clear with the Department of Defense what he could and couldn't say, because he did work in sensitive offices in the military. Things that are top secret, you can't just go out and tell everyone about. And so, as it's reported, he went to the Department of Defense to clear
Super
this.
suspicious.
It's an office called the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review, or DOPSR. They review everything you want to say in a book, in an interview, whatever medium. And they say, no, you can't say this. This is top secret. That's what they do. This is top secret, can't share it. And it's reported that he went through this process, and they signed off on what he had to say. What does that mean? It means everything that he's saying in these interviews, the government doesn't consider it a secret. It doesn't consider it top secret. It doesn't consider it something they don't want revealed. Mr. Grush is now a private citizen. He has the right to say whatever he wants.
Suspicious.
The Department of Defense is not going to dictate what kind of stories this now private citizen can tell. They're only going to dictate what is top secret and can't be revealed. So he didn't reveal any secrets. Another red flag was when I personally called David Grush for comment.
So he's not a whistleblower, is what he's saying. Right? Because the media keeps calling this guy a whistleblower. He's not a fucking whistleblower. He had everything pre-approved.
To get his input, to ask him questions about all of this stuff. And here's how the phone call went. Hello? Hi, is this David Grush? Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to? This is Stephen Greenstreet with the New York Click. He hung up on me. I called back, didn't answer. I left a voicemail. I then texted him and sent him other messages to no response. Look, if you've got a solid story, you've got to be able to talk to the national press. If your story is true, you shouldn't be scared of hard questions. You shouldn't be scared of critical inquiry. Click. Another red flag is the sources for all of this. It's the same names that have been involved with this UFO story for years. The authors of the original story are Ralph Blumenthal and Leslie Kean. In the UFO world, these guys are superstars. Miss Kean, for example, for many, many years, dating back decades, has been a UFO activist, a UFO researcher, a UFO author, a UFO believer. And these two wrote the now infamous 2017 New York Times front page article revealing this Pentagon UFO program. Our reporting at the Post has revealed that most of that article is erroneous, factually inaccurate, deceptive. And Miss Kean actually went on a Showtime documentary and admitted that she had a specific goal and agenda with that New York Times article, and that was to get people to believe in UFOs.
The angle that I was taking in my reporting was to try to get credibility for the subject, and I knew that that was not the way to go. That was not the first step in terms of getting people to accept this.
Through my own research,
Why would you say that? Why would you admit that?
I've learned that other news outlets had this story, were presented with this story, did not publish the story. Ralph Blumenthal, in a tweet, for example, says the Washington Post had this story, but they wanted to take some time, he says. They needed more time. Washington Post needed more time for what? Could it be for fact-checking, background checks, intense vetting, more fact-checking, and so on? Anyway, they couldn't wait, so they just published it in the Debrief. Now, what's the Debrief? The Debrief is a low-level underground media outlet, and they run lots of UFO stories. They got their start running UFO stories, breathless UFO stories, thousands and thousands of words of UFO stories on the Debrief. So to recap, a lot of red flags with this story, but that's not stopping the story from spreading like wildfire. All of these UFO stories, they just get copied and pasted en masse. And I assume that's what's going to happen with this story until someone on the Hill in Congress says, wait a minute, let's get people in a room under oath and figure out what's going on here.
Welcome back, M. Oculus. Yeah, Ryan Graves. It sounds familiar. I don't really have any opinion at the moment. Investigate liars have little volition over their passions. Doesn't matter if we have them or not. Assume that we are and live responsibly. Live responsibly. The fuck? Assume you're being watched 24/7 every second of your life. The floors, the ceilings, and walls. I mean, the big reason why I'm interested in aliens being true, the reason why I want aliens to be a real thing, is that it would be the beginning of the end of religion, in my opinion. And I really do believe religion is one of the things that's holding society back the hardest. It's one of the society's largest anchors. And proof of alien life would disprove most earthly religions. Not all of them, though. Kind of cultural conditions do you think causes an increase in UFO stories? Well, I think stuff like this, little tidbits like this, you know, little bits of information that feels really legitimate, whether it is or isn't, right? Always do your best shit. Life is a stage. Such an assumption is safe when people share so much personal info. They surrender their so-called privacy long before government does anything directly against it. Harsh but true, Oculus. Goddamn, man. Harsh but true. Next toilet session could be an alien game show. I hope I'm popular. It can't be a very fun game show, just people sitting there making fart noises while they're scrolling through their phone. You know, every once in a while jacking off or something in there. Is that like a NASCAR car crash? Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. YouTube. How you doing, YouTube? We gotta go. We're moving on to our next story. Thank you so much. That's the end of my UFO coverage. Goddamn.